Hey guys, welcome to Tiny House Customs. I'm Dan. In this video, I'm going to pick up where I left off in the last video. So let's go.
Oh, I'm going to vomit all over the place. Just bleh.
So all my pieces are pretty much done getting cut. I just need to put a router in them. So I want all my windows to have that routered edge right there. And right there. And then on this edge right here where the window sits in. So probably just whack the mic a bunch right there. So I'm going to do this routering right now. Routering, that's a word. I'll make it a word. So I set my chamfer routing bit in there with a bearing on here. Got rid of the fence on the back. I'm just going to go right with this edge. And I got a shit ton of routering to do now. So on the horizontal pieces, I need to do a chamfer on the tenon side, as well as down both lengths on this side and here. And bam, bam, bam. And then on the vertical pieces, I need to come across, come down, come across, and go back up. And then I'll have to clean this up with a chisel, which I have to do that anyways, because a lot of these came out kind of shatty. But they won't be seen. That will be seen, though, because that's hideous. Got a little reckless there. So I've got that chamfer in all my pieces. Now in all the vertical pieces, I've got that radius to edge now. So I'm just going to come in with a chisel and cut in, and then hold it tight to this edge here and bring it to there, and then just clean it up. And then while I'm here, I'm going to clean any of these nasty ass cuts up, because these were pretty nasty. Probably should clamp it into place, shouldn't I? That's probably a good idea. Alright, so I need to make the cuts into the bottoms of the windows. Don't screw that up. I think that would have been screwing it up if I did that. You bet your ass that would have been screwing it up. So as of right now, there's no top or bottom to either of these pieces. So once I put that cut into it, then I'll have a bottom. And I need to have mirroring pieces. So I need to make sure that I don't cut all my pieces so that the mortise here is facing out. I need to have half of them facing out and half of them facing in. I won't cut them at the same time. I just paired them up so that I don't screw that up. And I'm going to think about everything I'm doing before I do it, and that is good. So I moved over my sacrificial fence. I'm going to put a cut in it as a reference point. I set my blade at the 5-degree angle, so it's good. I did run a test already. So now if I just bring this top corner right to that point, I can make these cuts. Just to make sure I didn't screw anything up, I'm going to take one of my pieces and test it. It's not perfect, but I'm going to take a belt sander and sand this down and bring it to perfection. So I'm going to take my time and just start cutting through these. No changing that, okay? And not a lot to change it. That completes all the window frames. Every cut I think that I need to make on them. Now I'm going to sand them and glue them together. I'm going to go and buy a belt sander because I need a lot of sanding and I don't want to do it with the orbital, so I got to wait for payday to get the sander. So I've got all my sills over here now, and they are all ripped bigger than what I need, and the length's way longer than what I need. So I can start working on these. So just like my door on my tiny house, I want my sill to hang over that exterior trim that I'm putting on it, and I want it to come past another 1/4 inch. So this right here is 1 inch thick, or 4/4, and I want it to hang over a 1/4 inch. So if I come in 1 1/4 inches, that'll give me where the window frame should start. But I want to recess the window into the frame about a 1/2 inch. Why do I want to do this? I don't really know. I was just thinking that the farther in it is, I don't know. I just kind of feel like that's a good thing to do. So I'm going to recess the window a 1/2 inch. So I got that 1 1/4 inch mark, and then I went in another 1/2 inch. From that extra 1/2 inch, I went over another 1 3/4 inches, which is the thickness of my window. And then that total distance that I have right here is 3.5 inches. So now from that 3.5 to wherever it is, I need to rip that on a 5-degree. So I entered it in my calculator, did some math and stuff, and figured the difference was 5/16 of an inch on that 3.5 inches. So when I set my saw up, I kind of screwed up a little bit, and I ended up with this little lip right there. So I've been sitting here thinking about that and seeing the problems that that might cause, and I don't really see it causing any problems. If anything, the window's going to shut up against that, and it'll make a better seal. So the saw is already set up to do all the pieces, but before I do that, I want to plane this edge right here so I have a nice flat surface. So I got my fence good, my blade's all the way up, which is very dangerous again. And I put a feather board on there just because I felt like that was a good thing to do. I don't know, I could be wrong. So that's not bad. I mean, so this piece will end up sitting on there like so. And that's perfectly square, so that's good. I'm going to end up doing a little gap there. But I kind of like that lip. That's going to prevent water from going up and getting into the house. All the windows are going to shut like this. So now that I've figured that out, I'm going to go and cut all those bottoms, I think. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so that way the windows are done. They're ready for sanding. Yeah, safety please. I don't need it. I don't need it, guys. I know. There's inherent danger when you use a table saw. I understand. Me, I was right there too, you know? And then it tripped. Now I'm gonna have a huge burn and tear out right there. So when I built my door, I didn't start this step until after that was all glued up. So what I'm gonna do is cut all my pieces, the sides, the tops, like an inch long, and then I'll mill them down to the correct thickness, and I'll get them real close to what they gotta be, and then I can come back. Once I glue these up, I can cut them to their final dimension. If I cut my bottom sills a 1/4 inch bigger than those original numbers, it'll give me an 1/8 inch reveal around the window. But right now I'm just going to cut them 1 inch and 1/4 bigger than these numbers. Now I do need to rip this again and then power plane this. I should do that now because every time I do that I f that up. You know what? I'm going to take that back. I'm going to rip those to the final dimension. I'm tired, Tina. You better be sorry you stepped on my paws. It's 2 a.m., guys. One thing I love about living here is I can work all night long. Unfortunately, I lost audio. Basically, I ripped all my pieces to the final dimension, which was 6 inches, so I set my fence up, and I ran them all through it, and then I power planed all the opposite sides that I'd already done. So where are we at? I need to clean my fingernails. We're way too zoomed in. So it is a new day. Yay, it's 50 degrees out. It went from being 12 degrees to 50. So I got all my pieces ripped and ready to move on to the next step. I'm going to cut all these down to a rough length so I'm not sanding unnecessarily. That don't make no sense. Doesn't need to. It doesn't need to make any sense. I'm happy with what I said. Alright, so let's not f anything up. So I got rough lengths for my sills. I need 3 at 44 inches, 5 at 38, and 1 at 28. I'm going to start with my biggest and work down to my smallest so I don't screw myself. I've done that before. I'll do a video on how to screw yourself. It's f***ing insane. It's the most important piece of wood I have in the whole shop. It goes on top of my drink like that. Prevents dust from getting in it. First thing I'm going to do is square up one side, and then I'll cut it to length. That's $1. Now that I got that cut, I'm going to do all of them, and then we'll go on to the next step, which is going to be sanding. So I will see you in 2 seconds. But not for me, though, really, because I actually have to cut them all. I notice that when I get drunk, I stop paying attention to the audio imports, and that's when I lose audio on my videos, when I'm really drunk. I mean, I'm just saying. You can see on this end I have a painted end. That is from the factory, I guess you could say. And there is a huge, I believe it's called a check mark in it, or a crack basically, and it comes in to about here. Now, over time that's going to continue. So the more I can get rid of that, the better. So this one is going to become one of my shorter sills at 38 inches, so I'm going to be losing a freaking 10 inches or a foot. What is that? I think it's 10 inches. Yeah, 10 inches. That's great. That's great. I mean, it sucks because that's like $1 there, but you know what? That's like $5. This is the money pit of projects, I tell you. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you really like these videos, make sure you hit the subscribe, thumbs up, comment, great things. Please, no negative stuff. You'll just get blocked because I can't take that stuff anymore. I'm done with the negatives. You're done. You're done, kids. And also, guys, if you want to help support my channel, I have a Patreon page. It's going to be linked in the description below. All that money that comes from Patreon will go towards a second tiny house build. And that is going to be a budget-friendly build. I'm just going to try to get everything for dirt cheap, if not free. And it will be completely funded by you guys. But I'll continue to make highly detailed videos on how to build a tiny house. I'm going to go back into how to frame and do all the things that a lot of you guys want to know how to do. So if you would like to see that become a thing, please go check out my Patreon page. Again, links in the description. Again, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.